students in the community the way we're doing without Lake Charles Toyota and Philip Tarver.
Thank you, thank you. I just write the check, you know. My boys learn from their mama. So all they got to do is say, "This is what we want to do," and I say, "Okay."
Yeah, well, I tell you what, your family is unbelievable, and you know, I mean, I can go on and on a whole segment about what your family means to this community and what you guys have done, you know, just year in and year out. Not only for McNeese, but you know, you guys give to so many charities and so many projects within this community that our community is better for you guys being in it.
Well, thank
so
you.
that's simple.
It's a great privilege and a tremendous responsibility too. You know, but we enjoy it. It's just part of our lives. I had a guy told me one time. He said, "Man, this is not a business. This is 50% business and 50% ministry."
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Well,
yeah.
But we do like to be. You know, we started about 20 years ago, I guess, with this concept of I can't just sit here and hope somebody comes in. You know, so I go out. I go out into the old Bible verse, go out into the highways and byways and compel them to come in. And so that's what we try to do is get out to where you guys are. I love, you know, whenever I ran for office, I'm a legislator now, and when I ran for office, we talked about shaking hands and kissing babies. You said that a while ago, but that's what we do. That's what entertainment is. That's what business is about. That's what you have to do to encourage people to want to be a part of what you're doing. And look, I feel very fortunate. We have been so blessed by this community in return. It enables us to, all the business that you do with us, that people do with us, enables us to do the things that we do. So thank you very much for all that you do to help us have a good business. We do the same things you do. He was kind of getting on you there a little bit about it. But look,
it's
man,
every week.
That's what you got to do. You got to go out and find out what people want to do and appeal to them and provide a product for them. And it's not always easy. And sometimes you run into little mistakes, little hiccups along the way, and you just work through them. And
That's right.
look, I got to tell you, I don't know. Am I going to y'all got some questions?
Nope.
Because it's light years, and I don't mean this to sound bad about anybody that was here before, but you have brought an enthusiasm and a willingness for the university to go out. Just like I remember 10, 15, 20 years ago, people would say, well, why don't we do more things? And it was like the university would sit back and almost expect us to go do stuff. But now it's not just Lake Charles Toyota doing it. You got everybody on board. Everybody's enthused, and all the businesses in the community are pitching in and joining and having fun and getting a part of it, you know.
Well, thank you. You know,
that's a tribute to leadership, and leadership is what makes. I tell them, my sons. I used to tell them all the time, and now they tell me the speed of the ship's the speed of the captain. And
that's a really good point.
Whenever you got the ship going in the right direction, it's because the captain says, "This is where we're going. Let's go do it." You know.
So we got a question, right?
I don't have a question. I have a statement. Many moons ago, McNeese Cowboy Club started regenerating their golf tournament, and Phil Tarver stepped up, and he was the lead sponsor for the McNeese Cowboy Club golf tournament many, many moons ago.
I love playing golf now. I don't have to work as much. I can play a lot of golf now.
Well, let me ask you this. So what has it been like, because you are a legislator now, what is it like not being in the day-to-day at Lake? I mean, obviously you're involved and your handprints are all over it, but just not being in the day-to-day, like, well, how has that been?
A couple of things. I mean, I used to have to manage about 100 to 150 people. Now I just have to manage two, like two boys.
Right.
You know, they've kind of learned it, and they know what to do, and we just talk about things, and if I can keep them focused and understanding the mission and continuing the mission, that's one thing. Mm-hmm. And the other thing about it is I really get to enjoy life now. I mean, I worked hard. It was hard when I started my business 30 years ago. It was difficult, and a lot of pressure, a lot of stress, and you know, I get to really enjoy it now. I really am enjoying life. I mean, my wife and I both, I'm not saying this for a pity party, but we both have cancer, so we're going through cancer treatments, but it's the best time of life. I mean, it's like, how can it be the paradox of that? It's just life is so good right now, and I got little grandkids. My boys are giving us grandkids. And what was the question? Am I on the right track?
It's great.
So
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Alan.
Yes.
You know, the West Side tailgate's the big tailgate. Can you talk a little bit about what you do on the East Side for us over there?
Oh, the East Side tailgate. Yep.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of tents over there. We got some big tents. We cook and have community interaction going on, and the band comes through. I don't know if they come in on the west side or not, but they right before the game starts, they march through and play Jolie Blanc and everything, and that's pretty neat. But we start about 3 o'clock, I think, or so, and we just hang out. We got music, entertainment. Doc Wilder's at our place, and the other places. I don't know what that group is that has all the flags over there. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, so those guys they got music going on, and everybody's having a good time, and we got big screen TVs out there watching the ball games, the other games that are going on during the day. So, I don't know what they do on the west side, but we have a pretty good time on the east side.
And I guess the other thing is, are you surprised with how the concerts have taken off and what they've become now?
No, if you do a thing right, people will respond to it and they'll enjoy it, and we did that from the get-go. We didn't just we went out and got good groups, and we have a great environment, a great venue for it. That Grove area, I don't know what they even call it, but that's a great place, and I love just going there and walking through the crowd. I don't even listen to the music, I just go around and people are having a good time, and I think it came along at just the right time. Like you said, it was 4 years ago, so it was the first football season after that 2020 COVID season, and people wanted to get out. Now, we started actually before that football season. We had that one back in May or whenever it was.
Yeah, the Cowboy Country Fest.
Yeah.
That's right.
And that was what really that was the real impetus for the Friday night things. But people just like to get out, and they've continued to do it. What was the question again?
Just were you surprised that it started? How it's grown?
No, I don't think so, because people want to enjoy life, and that's what our community is about: is getting out and mixing and mingling and having a good time. And no, I didn't surprise.
Well, the one thing it did do that hadn't been done is it really kind of focused more on campus for the whole weekend, not just one day.
That's right.
And
it needs to be
like that was it.
Like Coach said, you need to have more things going on. The more things you got going on, and everybody can't go to everything either. But the more you got, the more people get involved, and it's like the snowball. It just gets bigger and bigger, and more people enjoy it. It's great.
And of course, he gets up on stage.
I
speaks.
welcome everybody.
Yeah.
I'm kind of supposed to do that.
Yes.
Are you?
It's like when you walk into a house, you just don't walk in and sit on the couch.
You're in my house. That's
Yeah,
exactly
like you're
right.
like, hey, thank you
Look,
guys for being here.
That is a big part of it, because
Thank
I
you.
go back
Thank
to my
you,
business.
Mr. Tarver,
That's what we
thank you.
do. That's what we do.
You don't have
long
to
time
agree with
ago,
them
I
on
said I want
everything.
my business to be like people come and they sit here and they just feel like they're at their house. We
Right.
have living room sofas and all that kind of stuff, and that's really what it should be. It should be, come on in the front door. Let's have a good time. Let's enjoy one another's company, and that's good marketing. I think that's a good thing, and people like it, and
So let's see, what are we going to hear from the Molly Ringwalds?
We're going to hear all. It's a national brand. Really, they play nationally.
You
so
started
it's going
with
to be great.
mostly local bands.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and now
it's
it's kind of grown
and
into
grown. Yeah, it's
people
grown
wanna
and grown.
come here.
Well, they're all, I wouldn't say they're just local. They're more regional, I think, because they all kind of come from different areas. And, Wayne Tubes that we had last week, that's the biggest hit around here, just about from the local standpoint. People love him. And the Flamethrowers next 2 weeks or whenever it is. So we got good groups. They got good musicians, and there's a lot of talent, really. That talking about surprising, that was thing probably surprised me more than anything, was how much great talent there is around here.
Yeah, I think that and the
Because
fact
I don't
that-
go to bars and stuff, so I don't know what all they got. But
Well, Heath goes to bars to scout, just to
He
scout
goes
the
to scout
bands.
'em out,
Remember,
huh?
just scouting the bands.
well,
Got
yeah,
it.
it's great. We love being a part of it. We have enjoyed it, and we will keep on doing it and keep on. It's a good thing to be a part of, and we have a good time doing it.
The thing about it is, and Mr. Tarver mentioned this, it's culture, right? Like when you're in Southwest Louisiana.
Call me Philip.
Okay, Philip. All right.
Appreciate the
Got it. But it's culture, and it's football,
Yes, it
right?
is.
It's football. It's live music. It's BYOB. There's food trucks there. It's an unbelievable time, and every time you get people to come on campus,
Right.
is a positive.
That's right.
And it's a positive experience. it elevates the athletic brand, elevates the university, and in turn elevates the entire community.
And if you don't think it's not working, people wouldn't be stealing it.
Correct.
So people are stealing it from you, so it must be working because now you've kind of started the conference in general, but there's other schools that have followed. So
That's right. I mean, they even the conference took the whole idea and ran with it with the basketball
with
tournament.
The basketball tournament.
And
we do the same thing at the basketball
That's
tournament.
exactly right.
when we come back, we're going to talk football with Kyle Siegler after this. We're back at Mr. Bill's and on 92.9 The Lake on PokeCast on this Wednesday evening. Going to go right into the trenches in football, talk to offensive line coach Kyle Siegler. The question I got for you, coach, is what's it really like in the trenches?
Well, I'll tell you what, it is not for the faint of heart. It's definitely play in and play out. Thing I love about it the most is it's teaching these guys to be selfless. You're doing a lot of things that aren't very fun for other people's success and other people's glory, and obviously trying to teach these guys long term, the rest of their lives. Obviously, that's a good lesson to learn early on. So it's not for the faint of heart, though. I'll tell you that much.
It's a tough job because the only time you hear your number is when it's like a hold or you jump offside. You don't hear too many positives.
Yes, no, that's the goal. The goal is to not be talked about very much at all. It usually means we did very well if we don't get talked about a lot.
So okay, let's talk about this team because this is from the last couple of years. This is a much more physical football team. You guys really went out and did that. It's got more size. It's got a little more depth on the offensive line. You played up at FBS school. How did you come out of that health-wise, first of all? And how do you think you stood up for the most part that night?
The biggest thing I took away, obviously, all those guys came out healthy, which obviously you hold your breath till the end of the ball game and make sure that that's the case. But I was really pleased. I mean, none of my guys, we didn't turn anything down. We met the challenge and we went at those guys. And again, I think it showed those guys the work they've put in, the time that they've put into the extra effort and the extra time in the film room. And it just shows those guys they can play with anybody if they trust and believe in what we're teaching them. And it was exciting to see that on Saturday.
Do you have to emphasize, forget about the last 11 minutes, kind of? Is that kind of what it is? Because you guys are right there. You're within a touchdown, and there's no dominance until kind of that last. It just kind of like they wore down.
Well, I think the big thing is it just shows these guys who we can be, and I think for us to go toe-to-toe with a team that's picked to win the Sun Belt, I think without question these guys know that if we play our best football, we can play with anybody, and I think that's some coaches have to tell their team that just to try to make them feel good and try to get them going, and us, we're just being honest with them, and I think that was exciting to keep that carrot kind of dangled in front of them that we still haven't played our best football, we still haven't played as clean as we need to, and we haven't executed the way we need to, so it's still out in front of us, the things we can accomplish as an offense and as a team.
When you put an offensive line together, first of all, how do you do that? How do you find a center? And because I hear a lot of kids move into center, they find that's not the easiest thing to do because you're running the whole offensive line. Is that the start of it? Is the center?
I definitely believe so. I'm a little bit biased between myself and Coach Martin. We're both former centers. I think that's such an important position. It was kind of unique here coming in. We had Will here who played last year, played at center. Good thing about Will, he's got some different skill sets, and he's really, really excelled moving him out to guard. But I had a relationship with Sammy before I came here. I won't name where I was at, but I was at another place. He was committed to me there, and then the stars aligned, and I show up in Lake Charles, and here he is. So and he's kudos to him, man. He's been through an injury, he's bounced back, and he's really taken this thing. And it's funny, again, he's playing really good ball for us, but this was his second college football game. So his ceiling is really high. And he's really grown a ton as a person and as well as a player as far as taking on that leadership role and being steady there in the middle. He's lucky. He's got two older guys next to him, which kind of calm him down a little bit. And again, that's the beauty part of having Will out there. You really have two centers on the field every snap.
I asked this as a Bears fan as well in hopes of getting a good answer from you, but how long does it take to kind of get an offensive line to gel and kind of get them working as the one unit?
That's the $1 million question. I thought really, probably about midway through camp, they kind of really started hitting their stride, and those guys, it's like music. Once those guys are playing with one another, it's like a symphony. And they're kind of reading each other's minds. They're seeing things as a unit, and that's really fun and exciting to see those guys clicking. And again, every person on that group has a unique skill set, has something that they're doing a really good job of, and they all bring a different skill set to the table. And I think all five of them together can be really special. Fans
love the throwing, fans love all that, but the offensive line, they really love running the football.
Yes, that's something we talk about a lot in our room. And again, I think between Tyler and myself and the rest of the staff and Coach Viator, we want to be balanced. And trust me, I just want to score points. I don't care who gets credit, how we do it. I just want the Pokes to win. But we do talk about running the ball and establishing the run, and that's a mentality. I think for our room, we talk about that all the time. We start up front. We want to be able to, I joke around, like with my kids, they say, we want to grr people. When you're blocking people and you're moving people that don't want to be moved, it sounds grr, so we want to grr them first, and then obviously if you can grr them, then you can throw it over their head. So,
how physical is this team? And you'll obviously get a test because you get an FCS school that is a physical program itself, but how physical is this team, do you think?
I think the thing for me that, coming here, being of somebody that obviously was a opponent of McNeese, as a player, coached against McNeese as well, I think for me, it's this brand of football here has always been about being physical, has been about running the football, and this brand of football, this university is a tough blue-collar place. And again, as not a native son, as not an alumnus myself, I've always admired that here, and that was one of the things I was the most excited about, and we don't take that lightly. We want to continue to make that be that what we're known for here as a program is we're going to run the football, we're going to be physical at the line of scrimmage, and we're going to control the game on our side of the ball.
People want to know about your hat.
Yes, so I'm fourth-generation coach. My grandfather was a coach. My dad was a coach. My brother, he's the smartest brother. He's no longer in coaching. He's making a lot of money in real estate. But growing up as a kid, my dad, his teams, kind of their when they broke the huddle, they would say all for one and one for all. And that was something as a kid, it really hit home with me, and it was really kind of cool. And when I got into this profession and decided this is what I want to do with my life, and this was the journey we were going to go on, I wanted something that could connect my players and my teams, that I was a part of, and, just kind of hit me, and the gold standard, obviously, we want to be the bar of which everything is measured in this football program. We want to be the most physical group on the team. We want to be the best people on this team. We want to have the best GPA on this team, and everything we do, we want to be the best of the best. And I think to me, if you're not striving to be the best version of yourself, thank you. And again, it's not just, hey, they're a really good player, but they're not a great person. Hey, man, they're a really good player, but they're a terrible student. If those things aren't eclipsed and those things aren't achieved, then I have failed them as their coach. And I think that's something that, it's unique. I got players that my first season coaching back in 2010, I still got players that Saturday mornings I get a text, hey, coach, y'all get after them, gold standard. And it's so cool to have that connection from when I first started doing this to hopefully a long time from now when I keep getting to do this, that ties those guys together, and they've bought in, and it's unique, and again, it's something that these guys, kudos to the guys that are here right now. Again, from the minute I got here, there was buy-in, wholehearted cannonball. There wasn't no dip in the toe. It was head first and go get it, and again, these guys are, there's a big reason why that this has continued on.
So it's the culture you want in that room.
Absolutely, and I've got some family that's served in the military, and I always go back, back before I was coaching the offensive line, when I was special teams coordinator. We talked about each phase was named after a military group, and within those special forces groups, they have their own units within that. And again, we're the Pokes, we're the Cowboys, we're one team, but within that, our unit, we have our mantra, we have our goal and our motto, and again, we want to be the best of the best. We want to be the gold standard.
All right, this has always intrigued me about football is how do you convince a kid to be an offensive lineman, to play in a game where everybody loves the quarterback, everybody loves the receivers, everybody loves the running backs, everybody loves guys on defensive tackle. We want you to go in there, plow forward 3, 4, 5 yards, get no credit, only blame, and come back and do it again and get your head beat in every play. How do you convince a kid to do that?
Well, typically don't have a lot of options. Most of the time they're not the fastest. They're not they don't have a lot of other options if they want to be in the mix. But I'm honest with kids. I think the game is evolved so much. There's so much more speed. There's so much more playing in space now. And you get those guys when you go to recruit a kid in high school, and they may be a D lineman that plays offensive line too, and they may turn their nose up at playing offensive line. But I'm not a businessman, but guys who get paid the most and play the longest in the National Football League play offensive line. So, to me, that's an easy sell right there, So, but it's you're right. It's the uniqueness of the position is just so special in all of sports. It's the only position where a majority of your job, you see nothing that's going on behind you, majority of the actions behind you, and it's again, you're doing a lot of things for other people, and again, that's what makes it so unique and so fun, and again, like I said, it's a parable for the rest of these guys' lives. You want to be a great husband, you want to be a great father. It ain't about who's getting credit. It's about how it gets done, and about at the end of the day, does the job get accomplished, and I think, like I said, if we, especially as a program and myself specifically, this is about not just the next 4 years, it's about the next 40 years with these guys, and I think, again, if you can teach them that, you can really show them that that's what it's about. It's about not who gets credit. It's about, does the job get done or not? At the end of the day, that's going to help you have a long, wonderful life.
Talk to us a little bit about what